Hey everybody, Rick Bassman here, live from Maui with the long-anticipated debut at last of Be Good. We're trying something a little different today. I'm going to bring on some very special guests in a moment who have all been a hugely integral part of this effort. And throughout this, and we'll be watching Be Good as well. We'll be commenting on it. It won't be a straight through watch because we're going to have comments. We're going to want to thank a lot of people who were involved and just have some fun with this. I'm in a different spot than I normally am today. I'm going to move around. You can see what's behind me. Up in Maui, we're on the verge of a major hurricane. It's pretty crazy up here. The winds are starting. Hopefully the connection holds. Hopefully we can get through this. If not, my more able than I partners, co-hosts, and whatnot, I'm sure we'll soldier on and we'll get through it. So without me further going on, let me bring everybody on first. Long time good friend and my co-host of Be Good, Deron Malibu McBee. Deron, you with us, buddy?
Hey, right here. Can you see me? Hi.
No, of course not, because being talking tough and Be Good, we're having technical difficulties. There you are. And at the same time,
Hi.
we have another good friend and someone who's been hugely helpful to us, Devin Nicholson in Canada from Hannibal TV. Devin, how are you, my man?
I'll try not to smile because my teeth look really bad compared to Darren's. He's got such a white smile.
We all look bad compared to Deron, except for the best looking man in podcasting today, the host of the two-man power trip and my producer on Talking Tough. Let's bring on John Poz. John,
yo, what's going on? Hey, what's going on, Rick? What's up going on, guys? Malibu, Hannibal, what's up, guys?
What's up, Big John?
Great interview with Sting yesterday, John. That you did
thank
for
you.
Rick's YouTube channel.
Yeah,
thank you. Awesome.
John,
appreciate
good
that.
idea with that. And Sting in Malibu. Dude, I don't know if that sounds really tough or a little fruity, but I like it. Sting in Malibu. These guys are becoming really good friends. It's kind of it's a nice thing to see.
Yep.
Part of what's developed through this Be Good program that we've been working on. It's been nice. Deron, you and Sting are becoming buddies,
Yep.
huh?
You know, it's absolutely amazing. We like hit it off like two kindred spirits. It was absolutely awesome, man. We text each other today, and he's just such a neat human being, man. I'm really thankful for just making a lot of friends here through this Be Good podcast. It's been amazing.
Well, Deron, you probably of famous people are truly one of the easiest people to work with and get along with. So I'm not surprised to hear that. I want to give some other thanks where thanks is due. First of all,
Sure is, and he had a great interview on my channel recently too. It had a lot of positive feedback. I was shocked at all the acting jobs Darren's done over the years. Quite an impressive database of work he's done. So it was an honor to interview him.
Oh, thank you, Hannibal. I think that was the most fun interview I've ever done with you, man. You had the greatest questions, and you just kept guessing. I loved it.
Awesome. Well, I hope to see you in some other stuff soon. Do you have anything coming up? I know the
I'm working on a few things right now. So I've got a couple scripts that are being looked at, and a possible TV thing. So we'll see. I'm just coming off of that double hip surgery, so I'm about 3 or 4 months away from getting back to work. But I'm sure excited about it, brother.
Well,
I'm looking forward to seeing you out there again too, Deron. And I want to, before we get started, I mentioned there's a lot of people that are due thanks for all the work that happened on this thing. We have a producer that is not on screen with us right now. She has organized this live stream today. She is keeping us boys together. So I just want to give a big shout out and thank you to Rachel Sartoris. She's an instrumental part of Be Good so far, and I know she's going to be a much, much bigger part going forward. So I'm excited about that. One other, and then we'll say more thanks as we go. And you guys feel free to bring it up as well. But huge thanks to my co-executive producer and the director of Be Good, who has been working his ass off over the past month to make sure we actually have a finished program, which we do now. So, guys, big props to Tim Prokop, who I hope is out there watching with us. And
Thank you, Tim.
John, take over for a minute if you wouldn't mind. I'm gonna jump for about 30 seconds. So the show is yours, my friend.
All right. Yeah. Just putting this thing together was just a massive undertaking, and it took so much effort and just so much time. And obviously, Tim did such a great job from start to finish. But Malibu, what was your kind of overall experience when you kind of look back at Be Good? Because it was a roller coaster for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys, I'm having a bit of a problem hearing. You're kind of popping in and out. It might be that hurricane that's getting ready to hit Rick out there. I'm not sure.
You can see the trees in the background of his house.
Yeah. He's got something going on back there. Yeah, for sure.
This might be a brilliant hit if the house actually explodes.
I think so. It might be just jumping around in the backyard. I don't know.
Can you hear me now, Deron? Are you hearing me okay?
Yeah, much better.
What's kind of your overall thoughts on Be Good? A little bit of a roller coaster ride that day, or what?
It's like anything else in the entertainment industry. You just never know what's going to get thrown at you, because you can be totally prepared, but when technical issues happen, you got to just run and gun, as they say. So, we hit a few snafus here, but, like professionals like you and Rick and Hannibal came together and just pulled something off like a miracle. So I'm so impressed with you guys. It was just amazing.
Well, Deron, thanks. And you know what, guys? I haven't even seen the finished show yet. It just got wrapped up last night. Tim Prokop, who's probably watching, I'll bet you has every second of it memorized. I feel bad for Tim, how many times he's probably seen this darn show. I haven't seen it yet. I'm excited to see it. I don't like to buy insurance or make excuses in advance. I'm sure it's going to be really, really cool. But, I will say this, because Deron, you are so nice and so generous and so forgiving. And you know me, I can get a little tough on everything and everybody. We didn't have a couple technical difficulties, man. That whole thing went to shit, and we know that. we put a ton of work into it, and 5 minutes before we were going live, it completely fell apart. We never anticipated we were going to be presenting this in edited form, and here we are a month later.
Right.
As we're doing now, as we did then, this entire thing is done on a whopping budget of $0. So whatever it ends up looking like, I already know it's something we could be proud of. And more than that, it's the message that's important. And as we've all said, if we can inspire one person, I mean, if we inspire 1 million, that's great. Even one person means something.
Amen.
And I think we're going to do that.
Well, I agree. I mean, it's just a group of guys we got together, and then the content of what we got from those guys was amazing. I mean, so much sincerity and so much honesty and so much transparency coming from some of these big, huge, tough guys. I mean, it was just I was blown away, and so touched by a lot of things I heard when we were working together once we finally got the ball rolling.
Yeah, agreed. And you know what? And I think the guys that are involved, influencers, as the world calls them, we call them our friends, of course. The guys that were involved, at first, I don't think they knew what to make of it. But when I was texting everybody yesterday, and I know, Deron, you were making calls to the guys also, I had texts saying, hey, would you guys mind, posting this? And I got messages back, like Dion Joseph and Bassman in particular stand out saying, hey, whatever we can do, count us in. So I think everybody caught the vibe of it, and that speaks volumes, I think.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it was almost a contagious situation. I mean, when one of the guys started talking. He really opened up. I think might have been Sting about his faith. It just gave everybody else a license to share their hearts. And I thought that was amazing. I mean, really, really amazing. And you're right. People are going to be touched. I think lives can be touched and changed because of what's going on in this crazy world right now. And we're needing that word and that philosophy of just being good because there's so much not good out there. So it's a simple phrase, but it's so powerful at the same time. You know what I mean?
Agreed. Well said, man. Very well said. And for this to work, I'll play promoter today. How's that? You can be the nice guy. I'll play promoter. For this to work, we need people to watch, obviously. And I want to thank Devin. Devin, you're going to be largely responsible. You already have for this thing blowing up with your massive YouTube subscription base. I'm kind of jealous, but with your help, you've already helped so much. I think when Devin took over my YouTube, he volunteered, which I thought was really nice. Just a couple of weeks ago, sat there dead for years. Somehow had 500 subscribers. 2 weeks later, we're almost level, and that's all Devin. And now I'm only about 1/200th of the way to you now, Devin. So we'll get there, man. But
and that's Rick Bassman's YouTube channel for people that want to look at him. Subscribe.
Yes, thank you.
Like,
please subscribe.
Anyone listening to this, if you're not subscribed, it's Rick Bassman.
YouTube.com.
Sorry, there's a delay in the feed.
John, what stands
Yes,
out
sir.
to you most
Hopefully
about this?
you'll get more subscribers, but you said we're gonna post Be Good on the Hannibal TV as well. You were mentioning it's up on your channel now, but the new edited fixed version is going to be up on the other channels as well because you want to get it out there, right?
That's absolutely right. Yes, thank you. So, John, what are we going to be doing here today? I understand we're going to be watching the actual Be Good show in a minute.
Yeah, we're going to get a little bit of a watch party going on here in a few minutes. We'll kind of replay the show a little bit. We not really have to commentate, so to speak, on the whole show, but it'll be on, and we can talk about it and make some comments on the show as just as it's going. Not a total commentary, but comments on it.
But we can feel free to jump in and interrupt from time to time, which, as you know, I love to do, of course.
Yes.
Okay. And right, Darren never smiles because he knows. And then, obviously, if people want to watch it all the way through at a later time, they can go to talking-tough.com or straight to my YouTube, youtube.com/Rick Bassman. The entire show is up to watch through, uninterrupted by all of us, or by me, anyway.
And Rick, I don't know if you can hear me, but there's I can see some fans commenting already about this, and you already have a fan on here asking, how is it to work with Guns N' Roses?
Oh,
good one.
Wow. Okay. I guess we can take questions like that. Why not? Let's have some fun. So, guys, Devin, you and I were talking earlier about, shoot videos, and, I do my level best these days to only speak good and positive about everybody. So all I can say this is it was a thrill to meet Axl Rose. It wasn't as much a thrill to spend a week closely embedded with him. He's a very, very challenging genius. How's that for political correctness? I can tell you this. I almost did beat him up at 3 a.m. in our hotel in Bombay. I'll tell that story another time. The band, though, before they got back together with Slash and the rest, he had a group of hired guns for years who were world-class musicians. And those guys were some of the nicest and best guys I spent an intense, built-in week with. One guy named Ron Thal, he's known as the guitar god Bumblefoot, is a good friend to this day, and such an amazing dude. So all in all, the experience was great. And while I at times legitimately wanted to murder Axl Rose, I remember the first night where our first show, I think, was in Delhi or Bangalore. I don't remember. But I remember after all the stress and craziness, standing backstage about 20 feet behind him while he's saying "Sweet Child of Mine." And all these years later, it was just chill inducing. You knew why he was the rock god that he is. So there you have it.
Awesome.
That's so cool. I mean, that's really cool.
I'm sure, Darren, that you've been around some rock stars in your life as well.
Was that a question to me? I couldn't hear it.
Oh, it
Oh, yeah.
wasn't. I was just saying, I'm sure you've been around some rock stars in your life as well, living in LA.
Yeah.
Hey, John.
Yeah.
Let me
You know, it's funny how how things work out. I remember actually seeing some amazing people in concert and being able to kind of get in backstage because you know, being on the Gladiators or whatever, and that's always been an incredible treat, man, to be able to sneak in and, you know, see these guys and just watch them backstage. But yeah, it's funny that Rick was saying my buddy was a bouncer for the Guns N' Roses tour and when they're in LA, and he was like Rick. He just said it was insane, just absolute pandemonium. So I actually was with Billy Idol, and I thought that was kind of fun. Pretty neat individual after he got in his motorcycle crash. But yeah, it's wild when you're able to meet these people, you know, that you've seen and you respect and get a chance to rub elbows. It's really cool.
It is cool. And, you know, Billy Idol, now I got to one-up you, Darren, because, you know, I love to do that too. Although this is probably not a one-up. Billy Idol was the, you know, this is, okay, I have to qualify. This is darn near 30 years ago, more than 30 years ago. Billy was the lovely gentleman who turned me on to heroin for the first time. Backstage show in San Diego. Isn't that great news to share? But that stuff's all in our past, as we know. And I write about that in the book. It's been on the website. John, I want to make a suggestion. Any dropouts we have or dead time, will you please jump in and take over? Because I know we have a bit of a lag. So you be the MC. I'm going to hand the reins over to you, my friend. So anytime you want to go to start watching the show or whatever you want to do is up to you, my man.
Okay. We can hit play. Just have to let Rachel know.
Okay. Your call. Are we ready to?
Yeah. I think we're about ready to press play for the world premiere here of Be Good. This is a great little still here. You and the dogs, you and the pups. That's pretty cool, right, Rick? You got a nice little footage here. John, can you see that?
Yes, I can. I'm interrupting you again. Will you give, before Rachel hits play, will you give the Be Good video a world-class introduction?
Sure. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Rick Bassman's Be Good.
Right now, I don't know about you, but I'm really, really down about it. I think about all my friends, guys, the guys that I know that are speaking.
Looks to be buffering a little bit here, a little bit of a technical issue on Be Good. Rick, are you shocked about that? Maybe a little issue there?
Wait, hold on. Let me carefully consider this question. Technical issues and Be Good. I can't even begin to imagine something like that happening. No. Let's just say this. I have not seen the whole show. I've watched parts of it. I know that if you click on a link on YouTube, it works perfectly.
Yes.
Guys, we're messing around here today. Anybody out there watching, stick with us if you will. Ask us questions. If it continues to buffer and you're not getting it here, please go watch it all the way through later because it does work. I promise you.
Yes.
You actually have a question on here, Rick. Someone was asking who your favorite MMA fighter was to work with.
Oh God. Wow. I don't have one, so I'll drop a few names real quickly. Mark Coleman, Mark Kerr, Boss Rutten, of course. Don Fry, absolutely. Tank Abbott, which surprises a lot of people. I love Tank and had nothing but great experiences with him. And then maybe a guy, my favorite MMA fighter of all, and I want to mention Butterbean, even though more known as a boxer, I cornered for Butterbean MMA all over the world, all kinds of crazy countries. But my favorite fighter ever that I got to work with, you may not even heard of him, but his name is Genki Sudo, known as the Neo Samurai from Japan.
Oh yeah.
I know, John, you would know him, of course.
Yep.
So that's I may have missed somebody, but that's my list.
Genki, very charismatic. One of the most charismatic guys of all time in MMA for sure. He had quite a personality. Yeah.
Maybe the most, along with Boss, I would dare say.
Yes. Yep. Boss definitely ranks up there as one of the most charismatic. One of the probably most well liked too.
Yeah, the guys, Devin, the ones I like best, the ones I'm closest to, are the old school guys. Oh, I forgot Oleg Taktarov, of course. I love Oleg. He's a good friend. Chemo, of course. I love the old school guys.
What about Tom Erickson?
Tom. It's funny. Tom and I have started this friendship online here, but and we've talked on the phone a couple of times. I never actually met Tom in person, so I can't say that I know him very well.
Wow.
He's a guy many consider to be the toughest MMA fighter of all time. Obviously, that's very subjective.
Wow.
But I don't really know Tom.
Did they not want him in the UFC? Was that the deal because they had Coleman and Kerr?
There's old rumors, and I've never asked Coleman, Kerr, or Tom about it, but there's rumors that say that they had all agreed not to fight each other, and for that reason, they kept Tom away from Mark and Mark. I don't know. I can't say for sure.
Interesting. You would have thought you guys would have ran.
Saying hi to Malibu on here, by the way. I just will shout them out. Ace Attorney General and Johnny Smith wanted to say hi to Malibu, as well as Tyson Grimson. So they wanted to say hi. Just wanted to give them a shout out since they were watching.
Nice. Johnny Smith, the old wrestler?
I don't think so.
What was that? I kind of missed what he said, John.
A few people were giving you shout outs. They were saying hello and they wanted to give you their best. Just a bunch of fan shout outs. I thought it was an old wrestler named Johnny Smith giving you a shout out, but
man.
I'm not sure.
Thank you. Thank you guys very much, man. I love you guys. Thank you for turning in. It was awesome to have you on with us, man.
So John, is Rachel working on the?
Yeah, she was having a little bit of an issue with because she was playing it from Vimeo and not off of YouTube, so there was a little bit of an issue. It wasn't with the actual stream or anything to do with the actual show. That is great, and that's on YouTube.com/Rick Bassman. It was on the Vimeo link that she had, so she's just trying to kind of figure it out and get it back to up and moving.
All right, cool. So we can bullshit about nothing. In the meantime, then, Devin, I want to interview.
There's actually a question for you, Rick, on here that you brought up to me the other day. David Hugh is saying, what happened to Garland, Donahoe, and Mark Miller? You were talking to me the other day on the phone about those guys.
Okay, so Garland and Mark, we know, but not everybody does, of course, that they were the other two guys on the original Power Team USA, along with Sting and Ultimate Warrior. These days I call Tom Howard my best friend in pro wrestling. That distinction, for what it's worth, used to go to Mark Miller. We were best friends. I was at Mark's wedding. In his wedding. He was in mine. Mark sadly took his own life about 15 years ago. So he is sadly no longer with us. Garland Donahoe is alive and well. He's 63 years old. I'm sure he could beat the shit out of all four of us put together. I'd bet on Garland. He's living in Michigan. He's a grandfather. He's a solid guy. I'm so glad to know that he's doing well. As a matter of fact, we're talking about doing a little thing with, kind of like the legend of Power Team USA, a deal with me and Garland and a few other guys later this month.
Nice. Very cool. So with that and the Power Team USA and all that other stuff, as we're kind of waiting here on the video, when that all came to fruition and you got the Power Team USA, what's kind of your thought process on what you can do with those guys? Like, are you immediately thinking pro wrestling, or what? Like for the Power Team, like what's like the immediate thought with those guys? Movies, TVs, or you're just focusing on pro wrestling?
Oh, you mean back in the day when we first started it?
Yeah, when you first started it, were you thinking like TV series? They could do this with them. Like, what else were you thinking with those guys?
Oh, well, actually, we had developed to a degree all of that stuff, but the premise, and it was a premise I later found kind of was just ill-conceived on my part. I'll take all the credit for that, or discredit. But the idea was to use pro wrestling first, get them over as big pro wrestling stars, and that would be their platform to, silver screen and merchandising and licensing, fame and fortune, and what have you. That was the original idea. John, I need to step away for 1 second, so take control again, my friend. I'll be right back.
Sure. So Hannibal, you got so much going on. Just what's going on lately? I know you just interviewed Butterbean. How did that go?
It was a good one, as you said. I think I may have got a little more out of them than some other people. Very to the point answers, but I've had good feedback on it so far from the crowd. It looks like I might be interviewing Conan next. Have you ever interviewed Conan?
Yes. Yep. Probably about a year ago or so. Yeah, he was very good. He gives very honest answers. I'll tell you that much. He's a straight shooter for sure. And Rick, you're
pretty cool.
buddy.
Deron was one of my favorite interviews. I was surprised at the feedback we got on that. It's amazing how many people remember him from that Mortal Kombat movie. I still haven't seen it. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't. I know.
I can say this
Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
You missed me. I got to play a horse's ass in that, man. It was awesome. I was a centaur. Fit my personality perfectly. It was absolutely a blast. The makeup was long hours, of course. I was there before everybody and left after everybody else left. But it was a great experience. I got to travel all over the world, man. I was in Thailand 2 times, Amsterdam twice, London several times. And it was an amazing experience. Just a lot of fun.
I think my favorite role that you played was Thor on Curb Your Enthusiasm, when you actually were playing a professional wrestler. That was possibly your best role. I think that was just so memorable.
I'm sorry, you winked out, man. I didn't hear I didn't quite catch what you said.
When you played Thor on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh.
Guys,
that was one of the most. Oh, that was one of the most fun things I ever did, guys. Really fun.
Oh, here we go. The video has just popped up, or almost popping up.
I think. Oh, what a mess.
Yep, it's coming up now. Yep.
Get closer.
Deron, it feels like that day back in the studio in Corona, my man. Oh God.
I can't believe that place is called Corona. Just thinking of what's going on in the world, that you were at a place called Corona during the coronavirus.
Dude, it just makes sense.
Exactly. That's where my podcast is at, man. Who would have thunk, right? Right in the heart of it.
Yeah. Is it the actual name of the town, Corona, California?
It is. Yep.
Oh, okay.
It absolutely is. Don't ask me why, but yep. Well, that
You know-
doesn't look like us.
No.
Look,
Oh,
It looks like
that-
looks like Hamilton.
Yeah,
I
that's
do like the cape, though. I would take that cape. I think it would suit me well.
Oh God, here we go again, kids.
Oh boy. Well, people can watch it themselves.
Yeah.
Talk about it. Why don't you just,
I sure as
why
hell
don't you
hope
just
so.
talk about what happened in it, since it doesn't
Yeah.
seem like it's gonna play. I watched the live stream when it happened. Darren actually had some interesting stuff regarding kids and how everyone's so disconnected these days, talking on cell phones rather than talking with friends, and they don't go outside and play as much anymore, and it's created kind of a disconnected world. Maybe you could elaborate on that a little bit more.
Did you get that, Darren?
Well, you mean what's going in the? Kind of repeat that real quick. I caught the end of it.
Oh,
Basically,
just what you
with,
were
like-
talking about on the Be Good. Some of the stuff, such as you were mentioning, people these days are so into their cell phones, for instance, there's less personal connection. And you found that that might be some of the reason why there's so much tension in the air these days. If you could hear me.
I'm sorry, John. Could you kind of give me a recap on what he said?
No. Forget it, John. Forget it. Darren can't hear us. It doesn't make sense to keep repeating the questions over and over. Let's just move on.
All right. Well,
Well,
The
Rick
vid-
could bring that. Rick could answer that one
yeah, absolutely.
because you talked about it.
Yeah, it's funny. Sting brought something up about that as well. And Sting brought up going into, you've seen the restaurants these days where you got entire families not engaging each other and being on their phones as a reason for a big disconnect in society. And oddly enough, the first time I ever saw that was in Dallas, where Sting lives. I was out to dinner with a friend. We walked in a very nice restaurant. This beautiful family came in, father, mother, son, daughter. And I remember commenting, what a nice looking family. They all sit down at the table. They all took their devices out. They glued their eyes to them, and I kept looking back. As far as I knew, they never spoke a word to each other the entire dinner. And I think social media, which we so obviously have mastered here, has been largely responsible for a breakdown in communications or the ability to communicate genuinely. And I really believe that's where so many of our problems stem from these days. And I know I speak for Darren when I say that, because I've had this conversation with Darren. And as you said, he has talked about that on Be Good as well. And I think we all feel that way. It's just, it'd be nice to find a more genuine way to connect than our mobile devices. That's all.
There's some fans on here.
Yes, that's absolutely true.
Darren, I don't know if you can hear me or not. He probably can't hear me. Have you ever worked with Chuck
I
Norris?
caught the last part of what Rick said, and I couldn't. No, I caught the last thing that Rick said, and I'm in total agreement with that. I mean, in today's American and youth, I was talking about a time when I went into a Starbucks, and there was like 30 high school kids in there, and you'd think it would be pandemonium, craziness, but it was dead silent in there, and nobody was making eye contact with anybody. They're all staring down at their phones, and then every once in a while they'd look up for an occasional selfie, and then they go right back to talking on their phones. And I'm thinking, what's going to happen when these kids graduate from college? What's going to happen when they get out in the streets? No one's going to be able to communicate with anybody anymore. It's rather, in some ways, it's wonderful that we have technology, but then there's a very big downside to it, I think.
Yep, totally agree. Crazy the
And
world
Darren, I don't know
we
if you
live in
can
now.
hear me, but there's people on here that want to know about Chuck Norris. That are writing in comments.
I'm so sorry. I kept getting bits and pieces. John, I hear you good. Can you just if you give me a quick blurb on what he said, I probably can follow. I can fill it in.
So a fan was asking if you've ever worked with Chuck Norris.
It must be me, guys. I'm sorry. I just can't I can't hear. It sounds like robots talking to me.
Guys, I want to do this. I'm sorry. With all respect and love for Deron, who you guys know I love and respect as much, if not more than anybody, I think we need to let him go for this. Or Deron, I'd love to keep you on just to see you and have you be visible for our audience. But guys, the connection with Deron is just not working. So unless there's a way to improve it, I hate to say it, but I think we have to keep the conversation between myself and John and Devin.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not optimal.
Can't hear him and he
I'd love
can't
to
hear
have
us.
Deron on, but
Yeah, we could hear him, but he can't really hear us. It seems like.
right.
But it wouldn't be good without some technical difficulties.
No, it certainly would not. No.
So,
Well, you have John. I don't know where you live, but there's Rick in Hawaii, me in Canada, Darren in LA.
Yep.
That's a pretty big gap in wherever the producer is.
yep.
Yeah, Rachel.
LA too.
Yeah, Rachel's in Los Angeles. Darren is out in the Corona area. Yeah, we're in 4 different time zones here. Miracles of technology that sometimes works a little bit, huh?
True, that's the problem with multiple person streams, but it seems to be working okay now with the 3 of us. We have good connections.
Yeah, it seems to be working good now. Yeah, for sure. I'm all the way in Asbury Park, New Jersey, the home of Bam Bam Bigelow, or the old home of Bam Bam Bigelow.
Of course, every wrestling fan thinks of Bam Bam when they hear that name. Did you ever meet him or anything like that? I never met him.
Yeah, a bunch of times. Yeah, he was great. One of the nicest wrestlers. Intimidating when you look at him, but when you actually talk to him, he's one of the nicest wrestlers I've ever met, for sure. He was a great guy.
Cool.
Rick, did you ever cross paths with Bam Bam?
You know, I never met Bam Bam even one single time. Although I do have a Chuck Norris story, though, of course.
Oh, okay. All right. Since somebody want to know if Malibu worked with Chuck Norris, so yeah, let's hear you.
I would imagine they probably had done some stuff together. Darren did so many movies in that genre when Chuck was at the top of his game. I had a business partner named Joe Koffenberg. He was known as the T-shirt king because he was the first guy that ever came up with the idea of putting a silkscreen on a T-shirt. And the guy made $1 gazillion. His partner in his business with Chuck Norris. And they bought into the Barbary Coast and Gulf Coast hotel casinos together in Vegas. And my partnership with Joe was heating up at a time when they were going to Vegas a lot. So we used to meet at Long Beach Airport, we being me and Joe and Chuck. And we would get on the rickety Gold Coast private plane, fly from Long Beach to Vegas, just the 3 of us. And we hung out quite a bit. And we were in the forum shops in Caesar's Palace one day, the 3 of us. And guys, Joe Koffenberg made me look big. He was like 4 inches shorter with a little pot belly. And, you know, he was nobody's idea of a tough guy, put it that way. We're in the forum shops of Caesar's. And all of a sudden, it was like the Beatles were there because people started to mass around Chuck like you would not believe. And it actually felt a little scary. So Chuck put his hands on my shoulders from behind me and he's like, go. And he used me as a battering ram to get him through the crowd. So that's my lone bodyguarding story. And it was for Chuck Norris.
Wow.
You mentioned earlier that one guy from the Power Team USA was really tough. What is an example of him that you could tell us of something you've seen of how dangerous he was?
You know what? I, honest to God, don't have a good answer to that. You know, it's funny, Devin, back then in '85 when we started the whole thing, that's when all of us, at least me and most people, thought that the toughest guys were the ones that looked the part. You know, the big, giant, jacked up dudes that managed to cultivate some sort of theatrical look. So the whole aura of toughness then was more perception than demonstration. So to be honest, I never really saw Garland do anything that would demonstrate that. But for whatever reason, all of us and anybody that knew him always had the impression that he was like the guy in the room not to be messed with. That's my best answer to that.
That reminds me, didn't you get Ludwig Borga booked against Randy Couture in UFC based on thinking that he was tough just because of his look?
That's exactly. Well, Art Dora was the booker at that time, and I had to talk Art into that booking because he was starting to catch on to the guys that that looked the part and weren't necessarily the toughest. But he's like, so I remember Art saying to me when he booked the fight, when he agreed to the deal, he's like, I'm going to either look like a total genius for this or a complete fucking idiot. That was like a quote unquote from Art Dora. And, Tony, he had a rep then as being the toughest guy in the streets of LA. He was, the heavyweight boxing champion of Finland, for whatever that's worth. I can't imagine. And, talk about looking the part back then. We all know he knocked out Scott Norton in a bar, and Scott's considered one of the toughest guys in pro wrestling. I mean, granted, it was a sucker punch and all that. But, at 6'5" and at 315 pounds and put together, which was huge for back then, he looked like the guy that was going to kill everybody. And, when he cut his promo on the pre-tapes, I'll never forget, people were genuinely scared of him. There were 3 fights booked before, of course, there were 3 fights booked before Couture came in as the opponent. First, it was Jason Farron, who dropped out, and it was a couple of others. And this rumor developed that nobody wanted to fight Tony Holm because, he had murdered people with his bare hands, and, they couldn't keep him in maximum security prisons. He was too tough there. Keep in mind, guys, this is back before the days like the internet really proliferated. And it was pretty easy to make up stuff like this and perpetuate it or propagate it. And people were really, really afraid of Tony. Randy Couture later told me that his own mother called him in Georgia before he fought Tony after she saw the pre-tape saying, Randy, I don't want you to fight this guy. It's too scary. It was funny times. And, when Tony got to Georgia, he said, so should I work my interviews or shoot them? I go, dude, work them, stay in character. So when he was backstage filming the pre-tapes and they asked him, well, what's your strategy for this fight? Tony says, I'll do my best shot at his accent. He says, I will rip his arms right off. And the lady looks at him and goes, well, that's an interesting strategy. What if that doesn't work? He goes, then I'll rip his fucking head off. And that was it. And he got up and stormed out of the room. And people were afraid of him until the bell rang and it was all over in less than a minute.
That's funny. He's become like legendary on the internet now. He has like a cult following, this Borga. It's crazy.
He actually he is a legit tough guy, isn't he? I mean, he was a good pro boxer, or I guess amateur boxer, right?
Supposedly, according to some rumors.
About Tony, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. He was the heavyweight boxing champion of Finland. That I know is legit because you can find that in records. But who knows what boxing is like in Finland? I have no idea.
Yeah, you're not taking double legs and throws if you're just boxing, facing a Greco-Roman champion
and
like
John. I'm now not hearing you either.
No. Well, it seems like there's a bunch of technical issues.
I'm not hearing you now either, John. John?
Yep, I'm still here. Can you hear me, Rick?
No, now I can, but I couldn't. So
okay.
I may be going the way of Deron here pretty quick. I don't know.
The Couture fight, though, Couture did legitimately seem like he didn't want to get punched by Borga, though. I mean, he literally shot right away, for the takedown.
Well, Randy was, like he told me later, he was scared, which is amazing to think of now. One of the greatest fighters of all time, Randy Couture. But keep in mind also, this was his debut fight, and talk about looks. You see Tony on one side of the cage, 6'5", 315, with that face of his. I mean, he's a legit scary look. He looked like a monster movie.
Yeah. Yep.
Then you got Randy at 6 foot, 195, 200 pounds. That was before he put his physique together. Most of his hair is gone. He's balding. He kind of looked like an accountant, and it didn't look like a good physical matchup. And Tony being Tony, I mean, he botched everything in training. He was so unprepared. He forgot to bring a mouthpiece. So me and my partner, Craig Radgel, we actually went to borrow one from Rico Chiapparelli, who was Randy's manager and trainer. So that's where Tony's mouthpiece came from Randy. And we went into the training room and we saw them wrestling. And we're like, holy shit, this guy is good. And we went back to Tony, and I'll never forget. We're like, man, whatever you do, don't run straight at this guy.
Know that are speaking
because
thoughts, trying to be a bright light at these dark times. My thoughts were, what if we got them all together at the same time, put them in the same room, a virtual room, and just had them speak the truth, had them speak.
I'm gonna duck out of this. I'm getting frustrated. What do you think? Should I duck out?
No.
You don't think? John, I lost you and got all kinds of feedback and stuff.
All right, we're just. It looks like the video is actually is playing. It came up. I had a little sound, but it's muted now. But the video is playing. I don't know if you guys can see it on your end.
That's what happened. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's keep it muted for now until we.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's have you control it manually. That'd be cool.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, though, you know, with that fight, we knew at that point Randy could wrestle because we saw him. We told Tony, I'll never forget. We said, whatever you do, just don't run straight at him. And he said, well, why not? We said, he's a wrestler. He'll drop his level. He'll shoot on you. He'll choke you out. He goes, he's a little smurf. He can never take me down. And besides, I never tap out. I die before I tap out. And, you know, the bell rang. And sure enough, he didn't run straight at him. He like lumbered across the cage at him in what I could describe like only a slow motion. And Randy sure dropped a level, clean double leg, one shot. Tony flopped over on his belly like a caught fish. Randy sunk his hooks, sunk a choke, and dude, Tony tapped out like a little girl like 4 seconds into the choke. It was awesome, and that was it.
Somebody
sure.
on here, a fan is asking Rick, have you given up on finding wrestling talent? Is that an old thing in your past? I know you found John Cena, all of these stars, Sting, The Warrior. You have written a book about it. Are you out of it now?
Did you get that, Rick? Are you out of the wrestling game? You found Cena, Warrior, Sting. Are you done?
No, I heard you now, but we dropped out again. John, maybe the answer is to take the Be Good off the screen. I don't know. We're not getting it. People can watch it after. Maybe you and I and Devin ought to chat for a few and then call it a day and answer. There we go. Let's just answer whatever questions are out there.
Okay.
What was the question, John? Am I out of the game? Did that come from somebody, or are you asking that?
No, a fan asked that. Gabriel Dean is his name. He asked if you would still help somebody become a wrestling star, or are you out of that game now?
This has not happened before.
John, did you get that?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I heard that. Yep. I got that.
I got nothing, man.
You didn't hear that, Rick?
Nope. I'm going the way of Malibu here.
Oh. He basically wants to know if you're out of the wrestling game.
Okay.
Finding talent.
Who's asking, first of all?
A fan had asked Hannibal.
Gabriel D.
Well, hello. Okay. No, I consult now for United Wrestling. We're bringing that up, hopefully a very significant level to more national and international prominence, and very, very much in the game, just a lot more quietly than previously.
And there's another fan asking if you have any memories of Viscera, Travis Greer.
Travis Greer, Rick, is asking about Viscera. Remember big old Nelson Frazier, Viscera?
Absolutely.
Memories of him? Were you close with him at all? Did you know him well, or?
You know, I wasn't close with him, but I did know Vis. I feel kind of bad. We went and did a tour of Guyana, of all things, in South America, Georgetown. You know, don't drink the Kool-Aid and all that stuff. Vis came with us. Me and Luke Ellows promoted the tour, produced the tour, and it was Vis and Goldberg and Raven and Paul London and Davari and Gail Kim and a bunch of others, and a Butterbean. And a big part of it was doing tons of promo. and Vis kept disappearing. He was the only guy that wasn't showing up for all of this. And he wasn't, he was, what was Vis, 6'10", 500, legit, I would say.
Yeah, he was huge, monster.
And,
yep.
This is when his health was starting to fail. And I remember going with, I think it was with Todd Kennelly, to Vis's room and kind of yelling at him. And I still feel bad about that to these days, just about, dude, you got to get up and do your promo. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. And I felt so horrible. I didn't know him well, but what I did know, he seemed like a very nice, gentle giant. I can tell you that in the stadium that day, before the audience was let in, Goldberg got a wild hair and decided to put this up for the jackhammer. If you can imagine that. That was fun.
That is fun.
Good guy, and another guy we have to, wish rests in peace, of course.
Fruit Pie Magician is another fan on here who was asking why you think CM Punk failed as an MMA fighter.
Rick, why do you think CM Punk failed as an MMA fighter?
John, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm completely losing you, and I'm gonna feel bad ducking out at this point, but I am gonna duck.
Okay.
But I want to say this first. For all the people out there asking questions, thank you. I truly appreciate any interest whatsoever. So thank you. It's awesome that you're doing this. For those out there watching, be good. The hour and 10-minute show that I believe it is now. If you click on the link, I promise you it works seamlessly. And although I haven't seen it all the way through, I saw it as Tim Prokop and his team was constructing it. And it's truly beautiful, in my humble opinion. It's inspirational. It's motivational. It's got amazing guys, as you know, like Sting and Butterbean and Boss Rutan in it. Everybody poured their hearts out. New bonds were formed. I hope it's going to start a movement. We're going again on September the 26th. We're talking to Kurt Angle and John Jones right now as the first two guys aboard. So we're just getting started. John, you've been amazing as a producer of all this. Tim Prokop, who ran everything's incredible. Devin, Hannibal, thank you, man. Thank you for making all this happen for us. Everybody else out there, please log on and check us out. www.talking-tough.com. Be Good is also available on my YouTube. It's youtube.com/Rick Bassman. So sorry for ducking out, guys. I'm not getting what you're saying anymore. Thank you and love to Deron McBee. If he's still watching, see y'all later.